Daljit will be very proud of me. I'm going to be using a tactic today, which has got an offside trap. I'm going to be very attacking. Oh, why is the offside trap not working? What has gone wrong?
Joey,
Huh? Daljit?
be careful of the offside trap. My name is Daljit. Welcome to the show.
The numbers bear witness to an ailing offside trap. 97-98, offsides 7.8 offsides per Premier League game, according to Opta. By 2005 to 2006, that number had dropped to 6.3. 2013 to 14, that number was now 4.2. By 2019, it was low as 3.8. VAR didn't lead to a spike last year, it was only 3.65. The first VAR World Cup had 2.7 offsides per game. The 1990 World Cup had 8.5. If you look up a list of the players with the most offsides at a World Cup, you end up with two names, El Hadji Diouf with 18 and Thierry Henry with 19, and that's for this century. Everyone else is from the 60s through to the 90s. We are in the death throes of the offside trap. The reason why it's dying off is simply because people aren't running in behind defensive lines as much as they used to. Balls are played to feet and players are more comfortable running at defenses from wider areas. In fact, players like Jamie Vardy might be going extinct because he is one of the very few right now that you will see occasionally getting caught offside. Most players now start their runs from wider areas, from deeper areas. They begin their runs there. Players like Raheem Sterling, Dan James, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, these are players who don't often get offside. And players who regularly get offside are players like Jamie Vardy, Raul Jimenez. So last season, the teams that were caught offside the most were sides like Burnley and Sheffield United. Why? Because these teams are defending so deep, there's no space behind them, right? When their players attack, they attack from more central areas and they are the ones that get offside the most. Sides that are playing 20th century football in the 21st century. The 2005 offside rule change did more to kill off the current offside trap because you have players that may not be interfering with the offside trap. So now defenders have to be smarter. They have to sometimes just to be sure they just drop back because they don't want to be caught by a cunning little player that has decided to take advantage of this new rule change. How does this translate to FM21? Well, even I've stopped playing offsides in FM21 because of the formations that some of these teams are playing. So you got to look at some of the formations the opposition sides are using before you decide whether you want to use the offside trap or not. So there's basically only a few formations that I worry about. Now, if it's a wide formation like this with inside forwards or even with inverted wingers and wingers, I won't play the offside trap. I will just play a regular system and I might tight mark the lone striker. If they are playing with two strikers and an advanced forward, then I will play with an offside trap, especially if any tactic comes up with an offside trap. Especially if any tactic is played with an advanced forward. Whenever they play with an advanced forward, I'm likely to think about using the offside trap. Finally, we have the 4-2-3-1. Whenever a 4-2-3-1 is lined up, I remove the offside trap. These tactics simply enjoy using wider players to run at them. So if they're going to be playing their ball to feet and they're running with these players, I will elect not to play with an offside trap. So there are going to be times when I would strongly recommend thinking about using the offside trap. Now I know there are going to be lots of you out there and I'm fully prepared. I am fully prepared for the backlash because I know there are plenty of guys out there who are still hanging on to the notion that the offside trap is mandatory with a higher line or a higher defensive line or an attacking mentality. It used to be the go-to. Everybody used to say that back in the 80s, right? You hear people talking about it. You hear coaches talking about it, how important the offside trap is for an attacking side. But the reality of the modern game is more and more sides are not playing it anymore. I distinctly remember last season how Pep Guardiola's side was undone by faster players from weaker teams that were running at their defensive lines from wider positions and weren't getting caught offside. Because some sides rely too much on the offside trap and they get broken and they can't trigger the offside trap because players are running from wider areas. Teams like Liverpool, they enjoy balls playing to feet and they come in from wider positions. So, the offside trap doesn't really work well against teams like that. So even in Football Manager, I would strongly recommend thinking about the formation that you're playing against before opting to use the offside trap. So the next time you play your game, I want you to do one thing. Take a look at the formation you're playing against. If they're using a 4-3-3 wide or a 4-2-3-1, don't play at the offside trap, just remove it. But if they're playing with a 5-3-2 with 2 strikers, then think about the offside trap. If they're playing with a 4-4-2, think about the offside trap. Because anytime they play with 2 strikers, the offside trap makes sense. Anytime they play with 1 striker or they play with wider attacking patterns, don't play with the offside trap. You will see a big change in your game and you will concede far fewer goals. I know, and I'm prepared for the backlash, because I know there are a lot of people out there who are still clinging on to the notion that when you play with a high defensive line or high line of engagement, you need to play with the offside trap. It's almost mandatory. I'm telling you, it's not, because it will depend against the formation you're playing against. And that's the decision you need to choose before opting for the offside trap. So I want to thank everybody for joining me on today's show. If you found the video useful, please hit the like and the subscribe button and stay notified for future videos like this. Once again, I want to thank everybody for the support they've given this channel. You've been absolutely fantastic and I love all of you. I want to thank all my patrons who've contributed so much to keeping this show alive. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.